You sure will be.
Have we started?
Oh, we have.
Oh, no.
Hello.
She told me to pull out my phone.
That's right, I did.
She wants me to look at the comments.
That's right. Absolutely. So, hello, I'm Gloryhoundd, and today we're going to see if I'd back that with...
Greg Dickson.
Charlie Bink.
That's right. We have a special guest on because Dr. Gloryhoundd could not make it today. I think so. I mean, although I do love our music.
I do, too.
Oh, look it. Dr. Gloryhoundd is...
He said his replacement is short.
very short. Well,
That's
I
very
mean...
good, man.
Okay, well, that's better.
You do us a favor and just give me
That's
a
better.
right off the bat.
That's it straight up.
There we go. There we go.
Here, I'll
That's
make you look
better.
taller, too.
And I just sit closer so I look taller. If I actually moved back with everybody else, I would not be as tall. I would not be tall at all. People are going to see me in real life and be like, oh, I thought you were much taller than that. So today we had Dusk Arena planned. However, Dusk Arena did not make it, guys. We're going to switch on over.
We're going to start with this.
Yeah,
We're going to start with this because I don't want people to like get through and then be like upset about it. Oh, and you know what? Dr. Gloryhoundd is still on the plane. He's messaging from the
He
plane.
said, tell my fans
That's
hi. Like he has
hardcore.
fans. Oh, that's rich.
That was so sad. So Dusk Arena got canceled like a couple days ago, and I didn't realize it until today, and I'm really sad about it, guys.
I was reading through some of the comments. It seemed like they felt like they put a lot of work into the game, but not into like the campaign, and they think they think it suffered because the page wasn't as cool as it could be or something. I don't know.
You know, as I was looking at it, it was a bit overpriced, I thought.
I never got to see the prices by the time I checked it. It was already canceled.
Okay, yeah. And maybe I hope that they're going to come back and they're going to do a little bit better with the pricing, that they're going to be on BGG. They weren't on BGG.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, like there were some things that they could have done different. And I mean, I think that their pledge goal of 180,000 was a bit high to begin with. Yeah, it was a really ambitious campaign. Yes.
First created, they needed $180,000
Yeah.
to fund it.
What did it cost? Because I didn't get they canceled it on the 17th. By the time I checked it recently, it was already gone. So do you remember what the pledge level was?
Yeah, we can go down and look at the pledge
I thought it
levels
wasn't-
on
that's
this.
weird.
I
I
mean,
didn't see
you're
it.
looking at 100 plus on these.
Yeah, but look at the minis.
No, the minis are like
They're huge.
minis. Okay, they're
Yeah.
not minis. They're minis.
Maxis.
They're maxis.
Yeah, you
Wait
can
a
pick
minute.
one up like
Wait a
this
minute.
and put it down there. So, I'm excited to see more on this project, but as of right now, it's canceled. So we're not going to talk a bunch about it, guys. Okay, sorry. We're going to move on.
And what's there to say?
I know.
But they
Again.
did say they'd relaunch.
Yeah, they will
So-
relaunch, and I'm hoping to see them back and better because
Yeah.
we'll be covering them again, guys. Okay. All right. So first up today,
What do we got?
we got Tiny Tanks.
Tiny
Tanks.
Okay, Whiplash. Production values Whiplash.
That's true.
Right? Because you got these giant minis, these hexes, these
This one
custom
funded.
cards.
This
Yeah.
one did fun.
The goal was $400.
I mean, you know what?
It's like, did
shoot
you
for
even,
the ceiling.
Did you even need money?
You might hit the chimney.
Couldn't you just sell some old like T-shirts or I don't know, something you have laying around the house?
Maybe.
He's dipping his toes into the arena.
But they were probably doing like pre-order, but
Yeah.
it looks like a
I'm not against this.
Okay,
If you're a
okay.
first-time person, because if
What do you mean?
I just mean in the sense that he's doing a simple little tank, movement action game.
yeah.
Very simple pieces and whatnot. And it's his first created, and he wants to do a Kickstarter. And not every Kickstarter needs to be like a business. You know what I mean? So this is a
Sure.
hey, I want to fund.
This is what Kickstarter was for.
I would make this anyways. Even
Right.
if Kickstarter didn't exist. So he puts up $400. If it makes 20,000, that's awesome. So I
It's
don't
not going to make
I'm
20,000.
sorry, it might. I'm just saying. But you know what I mean? Like I don't think it's a bad idea.
I thought it was weird though because he says in the description that we've designed games before, we've run successful Kickstarters before, but then they don't list
They have,
what they are.
Well, they have like 2 created and stuff like that. So maybe he was working with other people on that
I looked him up on BGG as a designer. This is the only thing listed as Tiny Tanks.
as a designer.
So I was kind of like, what else have you designed? Because it almost feels like he's like, I don't know. It felt a little like someone inflating their resume a little bit,
Well, what were your guys' first thoughts on seeing the product of the campaign?
When I first saw the video and I saw the product, I was immediately charmed. I
Yeah.
would say.
I was too.
It was like one glimpse, and I feel like I knew everything I need to know about the game in a sense.
That's really true.
Is that a good thing?
I don't know if it's a terrible thing though, because it is what it is. I do feel like it seems like the tank's firing patterns would make it such that there are just some way better than others. That's the one thing I remember immediately thinking.
Some firing patterns are way
it just
better
seems
than
like
others.
some tanks would be better than others, but I don't
It
know.
reminds me of Onitama.
Yes.
You can't
Yeah.
help but see Onitama.
Yeah,
when you see
and
this.
it reminds me of like a free-for-all Onitama where you're like, you have special abilities and you shoot across the board and stuff. And so I'm interested in this game because it's compact. I can take it with me somewhere. I can still play 4 players. I love Onitama and being able to use that system. However, I was disappointed with the price on this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Remind
they
me, what
have
was it?
little tanks
Yeah.
that
It
you
was-
can get instead of the dice, which I was like, oh, if you're going to get this, you got to get the tanks. But in order to get to that level, it's like, what? I wrote it down. It's like
Yeah. So
$35.
35.
Yeah, it was 35.
Huh.
So, you can get just the cards, which I'm like, well, why would you get just the cards because you want the map? And I mean, I guess you could supply your own map, but that takes away from having just the tiny box game that you can take with you someplace
Yeah.
and do, just have with your friends,
Yeah,
Um,
I'm annoyed at how every Kickstarter feels the need to have like 10 tiered levels with 8,000 upgrades. Honestly, a game like this is like, just give me the tiny tanks.
Yeah,
what
I
mean?
know.
Like,
That's right. Like, why did you not just fund with the little tiny tanks and just do it that way? And
make the pitch simple. I think like Kickstarter itself is indoctrinating other Kickstarter people who then think they have to copy what Kickstarter people do, which is have 20 levels and 8,000 upgrades and all that. And I don't know personally how necessary that is. I think just having one good product like this being
I'm glad that you said that
Yeah.
because I don't like having multiple pledge tiers. Like, I want a basic pledge tier and maybe like an extended pledge tier, and that's all I want.
Yeah,
Like,
I agree.
I don't want half a game. I don't want half of your game. I want all of your game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like he has signed
And-
levels.
Yeah.
Like he'll sign the box. We don't know who he is.
That's
It just feels like I've seen, like you said, I've seen someone else do this thing.
So
once,
I need to do the
So
thing
I'll
that
do
they
it
say.
once.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like their Tiny Tanks Ultra Mega
Yeah.
one is like where they should have gone with this, but then worked on the price point on it. I don't feel like this will be a bad game. I would, if this was less money, if it was $10 less, I would back this. Like, because we're going to look at another one today that fits along the same size of a tiny series where you get a lot of game in a little box.
Yes.
And when you have this on there and then you have this other tiny series on there, you really have to give a great price point with like everything. It needs to be wondrous, because there are other people out there doing tiny games just better, which I'm not saying this is a bad game. It looks good, but
It doesn't look that good to me.
the price point's
It
out.
doesn't-
Really?
it
If it
doesn't
I
stayed
like
small,
it.
if it stayed small and like
It doesn't look that fun either, though. They do the
Yeah.
playthrough, which takes 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And like, I moved. Okay, I moved. Okay, I'm gonna turn now. Okay, I moved. Okay, I shot you. Okay, you're dead.
yeah.
Well, at first,
Like, it just was like, that's a game. I don't know. It just didn't grab me at all.
At first, I was thinking, okay, well, maybe there's too much movement across the board because, tanks are kind of slow. But then, like, every 90-degree angle takes up a movement and stuff like that. And I think that'll slow down the progression of everybody, getting close to each other on the board. I don't know. I think it would be cool to play because
But how many times did you really play it? You're gonna spend $35-$40 on this thing.
then it becomes chess-like where you're trying to outmaneuver your opponent by being in the squares that they can't shoot at.
Sure. And that's why I think
You
that the
know?
firing patterns are so, like, depending on which tank. Like, I got the one that's cones outward.
You're
in my
like, that
frontal
one's
direction. That one
sweet.
seems amazing, yeah.
And then,
I'm
and
just
then
gonna
you're like,
spray the entire field with bullets.
And then one shoots
Maybe my
only
tank's a little better.
one shoots only behind. So it's like, what?
Seriously, one spot behind. I don't know. I just feel like there's so many games like this, like
Okay.
Onitama or the Duke, or I just played one recently, War Chest. Have you guys played that one? Just came
oh,
out in-
yeah, War Chest. Mhm.
So good, and it's like the same kind of a game, but it's fleshed out by like real
Little bit more.
designers, or they know what they're doing. This
Yeah.
just feels like a first attempt.
Yeah.
Well, and like I said, if this was a $20 game,
Yeah.
I would buy it to try it out, have fun with it, take it places with me. Like, since it's 35, I'm gonna have to say I'm probably not gonna back this.
Definitely not
Although
gonna
I
back
do
this.
enjoy what they have out.
I wish
you
him
know?
well. He's
Yeah.
already like 400% funded because
Yeah.
his goal was 400
They're
bucks.
funded. They're gonna go.
And he's going to use that on the next Kickstarter and be
Yeah.
like, last project, 7,000% funded. And it's going to be like, wow, this guy's amazing.
That's fantastic.
I would play it,
Would you?
but I
Would you
wouldn't
play
back it. I
Okay,
mean, yeah.
well, let's just go down the line really quick. Charlie, would you back that?
I don't back anything.
Well, you can't. We're
Well-
on a show where it said, "Would you back that?" You have to tell us yes or no at least.
Would I back it if it was $10? Sure. And it was
Okay.
this tiny little tank game.
If it was
I could see
$9, I'd back it.
Okay. Well,
I'm a cheapskate.
if it was like a $20 game, a little tiny $20 game, I would back that because I mean, $20 is like 2 burritos, guys.
Oh,
I
no.
mean,
We have a burrito exchange rate in this show.
that's like 2
forgot to tell you
Chipotle
that.
burritos.
For
Yeah.
board
So
game
I
exchange
mean,
rate.
I could get 1 burrito and then play this game with a friend and it'd be cool.
It's
So
$10
Did
burritos.
the tanks on the dice look like... They remind me... Was there an old video game, like an old Atari game with tanks?
it does
Yes, I
kind
know
of
you're
look
talking
like that.
Just like those old
Yeah.
tanks, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder if he was going for kind of that like subliminal like nostalgia like
Classic tank rolling like top down like arcade game. Yeah.
I don't know
can
why
see
we're
that.
getting 7 tier levels. 7 tier levels is plenty. Yeah. Yeah.
Derek just
Too
can't
much.
accept the
Too
fact that he's
much.
not on the show today.
He is a part of the
He's
show
just
today.
commenting so much.
He's a part of the show
like
today.
I want to be there too, guys.
We appreciate your comments. So the next one we're going to look
Yeah,
at today
guess.
is,
Take it or leave it.
aw, you guys are so mean. Is
We love you, buddy.
Machina Arcana. Now, Machina Arcana is like a dungeon crawl style game. Okay, let me get the specs.
This kind of
for
reminds
this.
me of like a Cthulhu betrayal,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
So
with a campaign rather than just like a one and done kind of thing.
yeah, and this is for 13 plus for 1 to 4 players, and this is gonna be quite a lengthy game. On BGG it says 150 minutes, but here they were talking about what was it, like an hour to like 2 or 3 hours? I don't know. It's down there somewhere, but it was like 250 minutes or something. I'm like, ooh, this
Whoa.
can go like
Whoa.
quite lengthy, guys.
Whoa.
Gotta love your Cthulhu's.
Yeah,
You're
you
gonna sit
gotta
down.
you gotta have a lot of free time.
Yeah, this is a big dungeon crawl style game, but also like a story campaign.
Everyone's trying to make the next Gloomhaven. That seems
That's
to be
kind
Yeah.
of what
that's
it
It
is.
does feel like a
It's-
Yeah.
Gloomhaven knockoff.
the
Yeah.
next- everyone wants that.
But
Not
this is-
necessarily a bad thing.
No.
This is steampunk Cthulhu. Totally
Steampunk
different.
Cthulhu.
Totally
okay?
different.
Totally different.
Totally different.
Guys, people like Cthulhu. They like
They-
steampunk, right?
They just threw everything in. That
Like,
they
just-
like Cthulhu's cool, steampunk's cool,
Ta-da!
Gloomhaven's cool, custom dice are cool, gritty artwork is cool. What else can we do?
Well-
What else can we do?
What did you guys initially think of whenever you saw this project?
I like the price point.
Do you? Yeah.
I mean, the fact that it looks like a big epic experience.
It was 50 or
$50.
$50. Yeah.
I mean, I could see Kuman not putting this out, and it'd be $150. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes me question if that's even a reasonable price point
It
for a game
seems
like this.
low.
Like
So it makes you wonder if there's not
ma-
as much game there.
Well, it makes me wonder what is this? Is this their first created?
It is their first created
Yeah,
game.
I wonder if they
Mhm.
really priced that out because looking at
I
the
don't know.
components, like my gut would be like, I think costs minimum like $10 to make one copy of it. So if you're charging 50, and you still have to ship this to all these people around
Yeah.
the world, it just seems like a disaster. I don't know.
Look
Maybe.
at the time, 30 to 240 minutes. That's a range.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Either your whole night or
30 minutes.
real quick, first thing in the morning
Yeah,
before you
right.
jump in the shower. I think because it's the first time thing, I'm real
Yeah.
You're a
weary
little
of,
weary.
Yeah.
Well, when I talk about first-time creators, of course, expect delays because
Yeah.
they might not have all of their connections together. You're right. The price point does seem like too good to be true
Suspiciously
almost
low
on this.
for how
Yeah.
much you get. Custom dice alone.
Yeah,
yeah,
custom
the dice
dice.
are
Not
beautiful.
cheap to make.
They jumped out at me
Yeah,
in
yeah,
that
they're
video,
great.
the intro video. I was like, ooh.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I
Here
think
they
it looks
are.
awesome. Like, I would try it just visually. Just
Oh,
looking at it,
yeah,
be like, I should try
absolutely.
this.
I
This looks
definitely
cool.
want to play this, and I hope it's
Yeah.
successful, and I see it at a con or something.
Well, I
but-
mean, it's funded, so like
Yeah.
it's a steal for $50. You know,
So help these guys out, people.
right?
Yeah.
Right? And they have 2 pledge tiers, so they have $50 or $75. The only thing that I'm a stickler on for this is
Oh, she hates
that
this.
they have their second tier, which is 2 expansions. I don't necessarily believe. I mean, it's like give me all the game or give me none of the game. Are the expansions, or should they be played with the game directly? Like,
I'd be willing to bet that they're probably expansions. I mean, it's the business model anymore on Kickstarter really is. It's like, okay, if you're gonna make money on Kickstarter,
yeah,
it's because of that tier. Like, it's because of
Really?
that little upgrade tier.
the little upgraded tier on there.
that
So okay, so Charlie's
50
done
so it's the
Kickstarters before.
$75. Yeah.
Yeah. So, from your point of view, you want to have the second tier because
From the business side, you
Yeah.
kind of have to on Kickstarter.
Okay.
Because one, the audience is so willing to spend for it. A lot of the, I mean, it's crazy how often you see where there's like regular game tier, which is ironic because that's usually what I only. I usually just back to it. It's like, oh, I just want the regular game because usually that's the real game. That's good. And then there's always the okay, well, this upgraded content is an extra $20, $30,
right.
but to manufacture is only like 3 or 4. So
Right.
suddenly it's like that's the real tier that they can make money
Mm-hmm.
off of. So here's the thing: I will say, like, I like that they did it this way in the sense that this has less tiers than Tiny Tank. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
you know?
No, it does have less tiers than Tiny Tank.
But that's the way to do it. It's like, here, if you want the regular
Yeah,
game, you're going to
keep
take a
it
chance on
simple.
us.
Yeah.
Boom. If you're just balls to the wall, go for the 75. It helps everyone. You get more content, and we actually get a good price point.
And for a game like this where you're going through scenarios, a little expansion for an extra few bucks kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I could see them saying, like, you know, like you said, like you try out the base game, but you might want to just try a few more scenarios. You know?
Right.
It doesn't feel as tacked on as some games where it's like, oh, in this expansion, like the game is. This feels like it could potentially be complete as is,
Right.
and the expansions is really just more scenarios. Whereas there's some games where you feel like, oh, I'm not even really getting the whole game if I just get the base pledge. Like they're actually holding back on like core things that are important to try to get me into that higher level. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah. It's
Well, and it
common.
looks like in their tiers for Kickstarter here, they are adding a couple of monsters and stuff like that. So if you want to get the game, it would be good because you're going to get some extra items in there. But we also have Chris saying, are they going to make up some of the cost in the shipping? And let's go and check that. Let's see here. In the United States, pledge amount. Wow. Okay.
Does that say $50?
Yeah, it didn't have any automatic
Is there a shipping
calculated
section?
shipping. Yeah, I don't know. I would have to double check that, Chris. Like, I'm not for sure on that. I should have been logged in and prepared. Apologize.
Hey, Derek, get on that and send us a message
That's
in the
right.
chat.
That's right. Send us a message in the
If you
chat
want to be in
about
the show so
shipping.
bad.
This has 6 days left to fund. So if you're interested in it, I definitely would pick it up. Help a small game company out and get started and stuff like that. It looks like they're gonna do fantastic, though. I mean,
They've captured the
they're-
imagination of a lot of people here. They've got over 3,000 backers. I mean,
Right.
That's no joke.
that's impressive.
for their first time on that. Absolutely. Like, I don't see why I hadn't heard more of this game.
Scroll down really quick. I'm curious now.
Okay.
So their base, they got how many of those 3,000 were on the base?
Oh, okay.
400. See, look at that. That's most people will just make the jump.
And
Oh,
look at that,
yep, and
2,500
2,500.
people.
Oh,
Yeah.
see,
so
we're
even
learning
for an
new
early
things.
creator, like that's why that tier exists.
That second tier there.
And you're right. That extra tier might just be a few extra dollars of production.
Yeah.
But they're going to make a ton of. They're going to have much
And you
more
can't blame
return.
them. Yeah, you can't blame them for it because it's like, look, we
No.
gave you a $50 option.
Especially they're brand new.
Right,
They're starting
right,
out.
right.
They're trying. Yeah.
There's a lot of investors that are like looking at the Kickstarter like board game world and being like, you gotta get in on this because like the audience is so willing to take those
Oh, yeah,
leaps.
take my money.
To take the jumps. Yeah.
Well, that's true because, well, like I said, whenever you have tiers like that, you're like, well, am I getting the whole game or am I not?
Oh,
We're gonna
kitty
have a special
cameo.
guest.
Kitty
Come
cam.
here, kitty.
Are we going to have another feline colonoscopy on air like last time?
Was there a little
I
starfish
can't reach
action?
her. So.
Well, she likes to come up like right by the camera and flash the whole
Come
back
here.
region.
All right, cat. Sorry, down.
There we go.
Good thing they always land on their feet.
We're gonna have to start locking her up. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, how many burritos would it cost to get a little crate
I
or
don't
something?
know. She'd be so angry at us.
She's already given us the stink eye.
Well, yeah, because I just scruffed her off the table.
She's like, how dare you? This is my house. I just let you guys visit.
All right, so down the line, Charlie, would you back that?
No, only because I don't play these type of games.
Okay, so
But
you're
if
not.
I did, I would.
Okay. And why? What are the reasons why you would?
It looks beautiful. It looks
Okay.
super atmospheric. I think I like the Cthulhu lore. so more interesting to me than like a fantasy lore kind of storytelling game, so to say. So for those reasons, but again, I don't generally play these type of games.
Yeah.
So on presentation alone, I give it the A+.
It looks like Chris looked it up, and they don't have a shipping cost. So I would say expect to have to pay for shipping
More than likely.
in this, guys. So if you're backing this at the $50 and $75 tier, expect to have like $15 added on to that whenever they're going to try to start shipping it to you guys.
And if you're like in another country
they haven't thought
or
about
something,
this.
even
Yeah.
more.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, $25, $50 in there. Like, expect to get charged for that later, because I don't see them making this game and then also shipping it for such a low cost in that. Okay, Greg, would you back this?
I don't think so. I'm a little skittish of brand new, first time. Such an epic undertaking for a first time. It scares me that it's not going to work. I want it to be good, and I'd love to try it, but I'm not going to gamble the $50 or $75 on it.
Yeah, I would say
plus the shipping, whatever that is.
Right. For me, I would back this at a $50 tier because it's a first time created item that I'm not sure shipping wise where they're going. Like, if I get boned on this, it's going to be for $50. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't have enough information for the entirety of this. Like, I hope everything works out perfectly. That would be fantastic for them. But again, I am skeptical. I don't think it's a bad looking game though. It looks amazing. Yeah. Looks amazing. Obviously I had looked down, and I think Mark Street had reviewed this or did a preview on it and stuff like that. So like, they have copies out that, people have seen and stuff like that. So I'm not saying, oh, this is going to fail, you're never going to get your stuff. I'm just saying I would be skeptical if I was backing this, and I would do it at a $50 tier as opposed to the $75 tier.
And expect delays, and expect a lot of shipping, sticker shock, and all that kind of stuff.
So expect problems with it, but it's not a bad campaign. It looks fantastic. There's a lot of story built into this. I'm excited to hear more about the story portion of this. And I think
we need more Cthulhu games. There's just
not enough.
They really need to
100% more Cthulhu.
If only there was some Cthulhu
100%.
options out there.
They're going to create a website to fund Cthulhu games
eventually.
FundCthulhuGames.com.
Okay, so our final one that we're looking at today, and yay, I'm so excited about this one, for real, is Tiny Epic Mechs. Oh my god. Gamelin Games knocking it out of the park again. Like, they have this down to a science for Kickstarter stuff. I'm telling you what, man.
Amazing.
The videos are
video
so
was
good.
so impressive.
So good. I got to see this video before it aired, and when I was watching it there, I was like, oh my god, like, I'm so hyped for this game, and I haven't even seen it yet. Like, this is so amazing. Like, their item meeples are innovative. Like, now they have this mech feature where they're building these mechs around their item meeples, and that's fantastic. And I actually got to see the mechs in person and stuff at Gen Con, and I was thinking, oh man, how hard is it going to be to get these item meeples in there, in and out of this armor? Because you're putting on the armor and you're putting on weapons, and it is so simple.
Really? No,
yeah, and it just pulls apart very easily. You put your item meeple in there, you push it together very easily, and then it stays together. It's not falling off.
The toy factor on this is off the charts.
Yeah, it's not falling off or anything. You put the weapons in, and they easily go in there. They're not falling off. They're in there very well. Like, they have done an excellent job with making the toy portion of this. It's freaking amazing. Like, oh my goodness. And
so what do you guys think about a programming game? Are you guys into programming games? Because for me, that's the only kind of like, because like Robo Rally, I used to think I liked it. I played it again recently. It's just not fun for me anymore.
Yeah.
And like, I think this is going to take that idea and like make it like a cool game.
I think so.
But it's like the only little area where I'm a little skittish to like proceed,
I like programming games a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was right up my
This
alley.
one seemed pretty open-ended as far as how you have to program. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, their basic where you goes are set in stone, but you have so many options. You can turn the cards any way you want. You can, I mean, you can
and
go
they fixed
and
the Robo Rally issue by making it 6 rounds. And that's the thing where I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is a finite amount of rounds. You're just going to get as many points as you can during that time. This isn't keep going until someone reaches an objective, because then like programming games can just go on in perpetuity forever and ever. So I like that they sort of addressed that right off the bat.
Right.
And I like that it's such a point salad. Like, it's not just go kill the other guy, you get points for it. You get points for setting a stuff on the board. You get points for upgrades. You get points for just initiating battles. You get points for doing damage. You get it just seemed
if you
like,
win the battle. I mean,
yeah, they
there's
just seemed like
different
they
points
really
for
made
everything.
it so that you could play it again and again and again and try different strategies where, like, oh, I'm just going to be a guy who seeds the boards with a bunch of bombs and turrets and kind of stays out of people's way, or I'm going to be the guy who saves up my money and goes for the giant thing in the middle and gets the best suit. You know, like, it feels like there's a lot of replayability built in.
I agree with that. The only thing that I can say about this is that it's probably not going to be easy for new gamers to play because there's a lot of technical stuff on this, not just with the programming portion, but with their points-based system of where you're getting your points from. You need to be aware that, okay, when I fight and initiate a combat, then I'm going to get a point. And then, you know, as I'm doing combat, I get points for weapons, and I get points if they retreat. And like, so keeping track of all that points is one of the things that I could see would be hard if you're just getting into gaming.
But it feels like a similar weight to other games in their line. Like, I think all of these games are meant for...
That's kind of true.
They're meant for gamers. They're meant to be fairly light, fairly quick games, but still games you play with gamers. Not games you play as gateway games.
They scale, I think, a little bit. Like Tiny Epic,
I haven't played all
Kingdoms
of them,
and stuff like that. I would probably play with just anybody because it's a little bit easier to grasp. Like there's less things to do. And same with, Tiny Epic Galaxies. But like this one, I think is reaching their more of the complexity.
This is heavier than Tiny Epic Galaxies, like more weight.
Yeah.
The rules, there's a lot of rules.
There are.
That's one thing I noticed. There's a lot of rules.
There
was more rules than I thought there was going to be.
Right.
For the way it looks.
Right.
Okay. I was thinking this was going to be a lighter one, but it's kind of like, this is
not.
sort of the same weight as like zombies.
It's pretty
or even
involved.
before that.
Yeah. It is very involved.
To me, that was like that appealed to me. I was like, this is cool. This is like a programming game that has some meat on the bone.
It's not a bad thing. I'm just saying, if you're new coming into the market and you're expecting a light, fun, sort of programming game where I'm going to run across the board and hit people, that is not entirely what this is.
Right.
Like, that is what this is, but I'm going to hit people and I'm going to lay traps and turrets, and then I'm going to try to increase my points for these certain things and hopefully power up my armor at certain times in the right time. And so, like, there's a lot more going on in this game. But you cannot argue with the price point on this game.
That's crazy cheap. And I liked the at first I thought it was a little weird, but I liked the like rock paper scissors kind of style of the different types of attacks.
Yeah.
The like range and melee, and I think the other one was like explosive or something like that. And how, like, if someone attacks you and you have the right kind of weapon, like, you can retaliate in a different way. Like, they really built a lot of interesting things in the combat. It's not just, like you said, run up and hit somebody. It feels like there's going to be much more strategy and depth and replayability here because they did flesh out the mechanics a little bit.
Yeah. Yep.
And you know what it reminded me of, obviously, is Mechs versus Minions, which is like this opposite side of the spectrum for price point. But like, I had so much fun playing through that campaign, and I'm like, oh, this is cool because this is a programming game that now I can compete. Now I can fight against my opponents instead of being cooperative. And I tend to like competitive more than cooperative anyway.
Oh, it looks like Alex Brady said Galaxies with the expansion actually gets pretty heavy.
I think so. Yeah, I think even the base Galaxies seems like it's similar to this to me. But
I don't know. I think Galaxies is super easy though.
But you probably just played it a bunch. It's become second nature to you. And I think that would happen with I think that would happen with this one too. I think you'd play it once or twice and you'd have it down pat.
You think so?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay, well, I mean, obviously, I'm backing this game, as everybody can see. Okay, so, Charlie, what would you do? Would you back that?
I backed it.
You already backed it.
You already have?
You already backed that.
I don't back every Gambling game, but I did back this
one. Did you?
Okay.
Okay.
This reminded me of the movie Robot Jocks when I was a kid. So
okay.
Okay. Have you ever seen that? It's a deep cut.
Robot Jocks. Movie recommendation,
Look it up.
folks.
Robot Jocks. JOX. Check it out.
Go run out to your local Blockbuster and pick that up.
There you go. Greg, would you back that?
I think I'm going to back this thing, yeah.
You are? Yeah.
This looks good, man.
Mm-hmm. When I saw this at Gen Con, I mean, I knew I was going to back it because there's so much game in this little tiny box, and they did such a great job with the miniatures. And finding out that it was programming was like just icing on the cake for me. I was like, oh, this is so in my wheelhouse of stuff. And I love Gameling games, so I said it there. I love Gameling games, guys.
I like how she acts like that's like this controversial thing to say.
Well, I don't want to be biased about anything, but I do like what Gameling Games puts out because I like not having to carry all my stuff into a game thing with me or into a bar or whatever, wherever I'm playing. I like being able to carry this with me and then go play with my friends and hang out and have drinks, you know? Like, I love that about his series of games. Like, I just do. So
The epic experience in the small box.
that's
There you
right.
go.
The epic experience in a small box. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today. So we didn't get super into introductions and stuff, so I think we'll end with that. Charlie, can you tell us a little bit about where we can find you and who you are exactly? They're like, who's this random person that's hanging out with them today?
This is a good get, man. We were happy to get him.
Absolutely.
My name's Charlie Bink.
That's right.
I originally had a company, Bink, I know, a company called Dog Games. We were publishing sort of a second edition of Tracking National Parks, which was my first game. And we were also going to be publishing more family-level games, big game-style games. And make games and I sell them. That's what I do.
He's an artist, too. He's done it all. He publishes, designs, art, you name it.
That's right. You know where I met Charlie at? I don't know if you remember this. It was down at the Gilbert Farmers Market. Do you remember that? That was the first time I had met you. Yeah, you were there, and I was like, hey, I like your game and stuff. I got it, and check me out. And I gave you my card, and then poof, feel bad. No.
I thought it was
Or it was going to have a happy ending.
It was a Maricopa. I remember you showing me some Jackson.
Really?
Like something she would do.
Really? Maybe. I think it was at the market, and then that same year it might have been also at Maricopa. And I saw you a lot that year because then the next year I think you did pups and stuff like that, or in the next few years, yeah. So like,
Where can people
then
get
I saw
pups?
you, yeah.
People get pups?
Amazon. You can get it on Amazon.
Oh, really?
Get
Okay.
pups, guys. Awesome trick taking.
It's a very cute game.
And if you like dogs,
And so, did you say where we can find you at?
yeah.
Yes, underdoggames.com.
Underdoggames.com. Greg?
Look Done Geek, new podcast every Monday. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Check it out.
That's right. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to ring that bell for our weekly shenanigans. And thanks so much for hanging out with us today, guys. That's right.
This is the part where we have Charlie sing Ring My Bell.
Oh, there we go. Oh. And make sure to like and subscribe to us at gloryhound with 2ds.com, okay? Have a good night, guys.